Hey folks, this is Seven here. Welcome back to the channel, and well, welcome to one of my silly vlogs where I tell everybody what's going on with me, even though I know they don't care. But what has been going on with me is this weekend oh, now it's happening the opposite way. I have rebuilt my computer, as I had mentioned I was going to do. Remember last time we planted this field? This part stayed green and everything else was ready? Yes. Teach us, won't it? But it looks like all of our stuff is coming due. Wow. See what happens? You take a weekend off, everything just goes berserk. Oh, and I was getting no weeds, and one of my really well-educated in farm sim viewers, Sooty, said, do you check and see if you have weeds turned on? Shut up, Sooty. So we should get weeds at the beginning of the next crops. Yes, indeed. I've only got how many thousands of hours into this game. But anyway, yes, I took the weekend off. Now, I did, prior to doing that, upload some videos so that hopefully you guys wouldn't have even noticed, like 99.99% of the rest of the internet, that I wasn't around. And whether it worked or not, well, that's anyone's question. But at any rate, as you can see, because I'm back, the rebuild, well, in the end, went well. I did give myself a couple of days for a few reasons. One, I'm a little bit lazy, and sometimes I'll start doing something, you know, I could really use a coffee. And then I'll end up sitting in my chair in the living room sucking on a coffee and, you know, watching Prime Video or Disney Plus or some silliness like that, or YouTube videos. There you go. And, you know, handing out likes like they were candy. But, yeah. So I gave that, and the fact that there's always that chance that either something you ordered for the build doesn't function. Now, keep in mind, I'm replacing motherboard and processor. I've made a few motherboards in my time. Oddly enough, all MSI, which is why I don't buy MSI motherboards anymore. I bought another Gigabyte. I bought the Gigabyte Z490 Vision G. Yes, indeed, a rather amazing motherboard. Probably the finest piece of computer hardware I've owned to this point. Yeah, really beefy power system on it, with an actual working cooler, as opposed to just a, hey, this looks cool, look at all the shrouds we've put on your motherboard. No, it actually has a heat pipe system that goes directly onto the VRMs and then cools them through aluminium fin stacks. I'll just call it aluminum because I'm like Canadian. So yeah, that and a bunch of other features, including 2.5 gigabyte Ethernet, that sort of stuff. Which is where the first problem came in. When I put it all together and I loaded up my Windows, there was no internet access. Now, Windows 10 is pretty darn good. And believe me, I started building computers back in Windows 95. So well, actually no, 3.1. So when I tell you Windows 10 is pretty good at this, it actually is. And that's making sure you can go from 0 to hero without too much effort. However, it relies on the internet to do that. Right. What it's good at is not having a huge box full of drivers like so many earlier operating systems did, which is why you can't just go pick it from a list anymore, which is how we used to install drivers. It would give you a list of the ones that it owned, and if one of those happened to match your kit, you were in luck. If not, well, yeah, there's always the internet. So something everyone that built computers used to keep around back in the day was a very common Realtek NIC card. Those of you that know what I'm talking about, good-o. Those of you that don't, it's a network card. Before it was built onto the motherboards, you had to use an add-in card to get online. and Realtek was the most popular. It was also one that had like 10 different Windows drivers available. So, at any rate, not so with this. This was an actual, the one that comes on here is an Intel. And, well, they haven't built one that works for Windows 10. Or it's just weird. And of course, when your computer won't go online, it's really hard to go to like Gigabyte's site, for instance, and go, hey, can I have that, NIC driver, man? Actually, I guess if it's on the board, it's not a NIC anymore, because that would be a network interface card. Okay, yeah, anyway, can I have that LAN driver? And I'll tell you what I ended up doing. I ended up going through my parts drawers, and I built a computer. Yeah, the only motherboard I had an A-something processor. It's a type that's actually welded to the board, right? So it doesn't even have a socket where you can replace chips. It took DDR3 RAM, of which I actually have a whole baggie full, anti-static baggie, no less, and a Realtek NIC card. Put it all together into an old Dell case that I've got sitting in the closet, and managed to get online. Yeah, this thing, it has a built-in graphic in the processor. It's horrible. It's slow. It's like, basically, it's the cheapest ebook you could buy when ebooks were popular, in a tower form. Yeah. But I got online, and I got to Gigabyte's site, and 15 minutes later, I got to their support page. 10 minutes after that, I was on the download page. Yeah, it was quite a process, but I managed to actually get the driver for the built-in Intel card. And yeah, luckily 7-Zip extracted it for me. Got it all set up, finally got it installed and got online. And it's been, from that point on, all I've really been doing is reloading the necessities, i.e. Steam, i.e. FarmSim 19. And yes, as you can see, I did actually keep the save and all of the going along stuff. And when Steam went, no, that's not the same as what we have in our file, I said, well, tough titty Steam, I'm the boss. Take that, Gabo. And, yeah, made sure it all worked, and here we are. Now, I'm a little nervous because I don't actually know if this recording's working. Well, I mean, the numbers turned red, so I think the recording's working. But along with upgrading my computer... Oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know, I was running a Gigabyte, no less, Z270 board. The Gigabyte Z270 Aorus Gaming X, to be precise. Because if it doesn't have gaming in it, I mean, how are you ever going to play games? Well, with an i5, well, 6th generation, it was a 6600K. So I am now running the Gigabyte, as I said, Z490 Vision with a 10th generation i7. So, now, I did cheap out on the chip a little bit. But it is, I bought the F model as opposed to a K. The difference is about half the price, plus the fact that Amazon had an amazing sale on it. So I picked it up. I mean, it's got 8 cores, 16 threads, capable of running at 4.8 gigahertz on all core. So compared to my 4-core, 4-thread running overclocked at 4.2 gigahertz, it's quite an amazing difference. But the reason I'm nervous about wondering whether this is even recording properly is because I also finally, although I've had both of these programs for well over a year, updated both my recording software and my rendering software. Now, the recording software, not that big a deal. Once you know how to set up one, you can pretty much, find where the same sort of specs are on the others and go from there. But the actual rendering software I use, which is Corel Video Studio, I updated that as well. And rendering suites tend to be a little more complicated than just, come on, people used Fraps for years, and you can put that on a floppy disk, so that's how complicated the recording software needs to be. This is much smarter than Fraps, obviously, and it does a whole lot more, including splits my game audio and my mic audio. I suppose I could have jumped in a harvester and told you all of this while I did some work. God, I'm such a klutz. And where is my other tractor? There's you. Yeah, I have a red one. Ah, okay, I know what's going on. Yes, we have a field. I was going to harvest corn. Okay, well, we can talk and walk over here. I assume somewhere around this is my other bit of kit. I'm going to say... Oh, we can go and see the pigs. Let's go visit the pigs. That'll give us something to do. But yes, I've also updated the rendering software. So hopefully, if I have properly figured out how both of those work... mushrooms. How both of those work, you guys should be seeing this. But I guess the long and the short of it, the upgrade was successful, at least to this point. I've got to go in and adjust my fan curves. They really... I think they're set to, kick on full bananas at 30 Celsius, which is, 5 degrees above ambient room temperature, so that's not great. But other than that, yeah, it was successful. So I will get back to putting up full-length videos here. Like I said, I don't think there's been a gap. I haven't actually checked. But I'm pretty sure that this morning, at least, a couple of videos went up. So, there you go, guys. It was a success. I'm feeling a lot less stressed than I did when I first started putting this together. Look at that. How do you even spit that far? Oh my god. They're such boys. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. I'm going to try rendering this on my completely untested rendering software and then uploading it to the TubeViews. Caw-caw, get out of the road, you dumb bird. And we'll see how it goes. Hope you liked it. Please hit that like button. I know it's nothing major, but hey, it helps. Till next time, take care of each other. Ciao for now.